so crazy. Everyone's wearing masks now, and just craziness going on. But what do you do?
Hello everyone, thanks so much for coming back and joining our channel. My name is Charity, and in 2018, my husband Ben and I set off with our 2 kids to travel the country full-time in our RV. Today we are going to talk about some things that we have done to help make those travel days a little bit easier. And when you are putting some hours in on the road, especially with some kids, we've learned some things on the way that make those travel days a little bit easier to handle. So today we're gonna share our tips with you and some of the things we do just for ourselves, but then also with our kids to make traveling as a family a little bit easier. So one of the first tips that we have is helping to keep the kids entertained. Now, I remember that when I was a kid and we were traveling across the country just to go see grandma, that entertainment consisted of things like coloring books and crayons, and maybe if we were really lucky, some magnetic letters in a cookie pan. But today, with traveling in an RV, the nice thing is that we actually have some better options to help keep the kiddos engaged while we're going down the road. Now, it doesn't always have to be things that are technology related, although our kids do have the ability to watch a movie or something like that while they're going down the road. We also use things like books, and then of course our camping journal is one of the favorite things that we like to use on travel days. What we do with our camping journals is, as we are going and leaving that campground for that first day, we have our kids fill out their camping journal regarding the campground we just left. And so they have an opportunity to journal about their experience at that campground, what they thought, what sight we had, what were some of the fun things that they enjoyed doing at that campground. And so that's a great way that we start off our travel days that keeps them busy in a way that doesn't employ the use of technology to be able to help them as we travel down the road. So who would know that while you're driving, that your kid's phone would slide off the dinette table, slide across the RV, and under the slide. Do you have it?
Yeah.
Sure about that?
Yep. Get over this lip.
I just don't understand how. Like how?
Point it out, you guys.
Oh my goodness. This is RV life. So another tip that we have that just helps with everybody, whether it's myself and Ben and our kids, is to keep those travel days on the shorter side. So a lot of RVers have the rule of 3s, where they will only travel 300 miles in a day, be off the road by 3 o'clock. We don't always stick to those exact rules, but we like to keep those travel days shorter. Usually about 6 hours worth of driving is our max, and that's really about the max where our kids don't start losing their minds as well. So as you plan your route, keeping those travel days a little bit shorter and splitting the distance up if you need to. So if you have a destination that, say, is maybe, 10, 12 hours away from where you are, splitting that trip up into a couple of days definitely helps those travel days to not feel so fatiguing. The next tip that we have is to try to avoid travel days back to back. Now, this is one of those scenarios where if we need to split up a trip, travel a certain distance one day, a certain distance the next day, we do that, but what we really don't want to do is try to do too much of that back-to-back travel or do more than 2 days of travel back to back. It gets really fatiguing. It gets really wearying on the drivers, even though we do both drive. Yes, I drive the big rig just as much as my husband does, but it gets fatiguing after driving for, a certain amount of hours. And then of course, if you're doing that back to back to back. So if you can keep those travel days to a minimum as far as doing a back to back travel day, find a spot that is maybe in between a destination. Plan on hanging out for a couple of days. Go check out a local museum or a park or whatever's available to go check out. But take a break. Try not to put in too many of those travel days back to back, and you're going to be a lot happier camper, and you're going to be a lot safer on the road as well because you won't be as fatigued. Another tip that we have for travel days is stopping when you need to stop. Now, obviously, if you're the driver, you're gonna have to stop for a potty break every now and again. So you're gonna have to pull over in those scenarios and give yourself a break. But stretch your legs a little bit, stand up. For me, when I am sitting in that driver's seat for an extended period of time, it does start to bother my hips a little bit. So getting up, standing up, moving around from time to time really helps to keep you alert. It also helps your body to not feel so fatigued when you're behind the wheel on those travel days. And if you're keeping those travel days a little bit shorter on the shorter side too, then you don't feel quite as fatigued after sitting in that driver's seat for several hours.
So they've got free hot cocoa for kids. So I'll see if I can get a couple of those. And I've got 2 kids in the RV. Can I get 2 hot cocos?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. So it's so crazy. Everyone's wearing masks now. Craziness going on, but what do you do? I just love In-N-Out Burger. Just so amazing, tasty, so good. I guess you can tell I'm hungry, right? How are you doing? Ketchup, please. Hey guys, I got In-N-Out Burger.
Woo! Dad, can I show you? Yay, In-N-Out! Dad, can I show you? Hot cocos are free on Dad, rainy days!
And one thing I think that we all have probably learned in our adult lives when it comes to travel, and whether that's just maybe a trip to the next town an hour away or a longer road trip, is snacks. Now, we all love our road trip snacks and our travel snacks, but if you are driving, one thing that is a great tip that we have learned is to limit the things with carbohydrates and with sugar in them. Doing a lot of carbohydrates, which the body converts to sugar, or things that are already high in sugar, will make you feel tired faster. So using snacks, things like cheese or beef jerky, some mixed nuts that are higher in protein, will help to give you just, that snacky type of thing and keep you full, but it will also help you to avoid feeling that carb dump or that sugar dump that can cause fatigue when you're behind the wheel. And our final tip is to have fun while you are on the road. So find a great playlist or download some of your favorite podcasts or some podcasts that contain information for things you're interested in. We'll put a link below for some of our favorite road trip podcasts that we enjoy, but there's tons of podcasts out there that can keep your mind engaged as you're going down the road, and throw on some good tunes and have fun. One of the things I love about travel days is, especially in our Class A motorhome, is it has such a huge windshield and you have the opportunity to just see the beautiful country. The one thing that I love about RV travel versus even flight travel is that ability to see the landscape change gradually, versus when you take an airplane trip, sometimes it can feel like you landed in another planet, because where you leave and then where you arrive is such a dramatic difference in the landscape and in the climate. But as you're doing RV travel, you see that gradual change in the landscape, you see that gradual change in the climate, and it can just be absolutely gorgeous. There are some of the highways and byways that we've traveled in this country that are absolutely breathtaking. And so remember that travel is part of the fun of living the RV life. It's not just always about being in that one destination, but the traveling from place to place and seeing the landscape along the way is all part of the fun. So enjoy the travel days. If you can take a route that's a little bit more scenic and that's still RV friendly, do it. Enjoy the beautiful scenery that you're going to see along the way and have fun.
So I swear RV life with kids is never a dull moment.
This morning, as I was putting away laundry, I noticed that there was a missing sock of our son's, which usually missing socks doesn't happen as much in the RV because I'm doing laundry every single day in our small unit. So this morning when I noticed that one clean sock came out of the washer. Hold on.
I kind of need to go to the bathroom.
Like number 2?
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna have to turn the water off,
Ditto.
go to the bathroom, and get back in the shower.
I know, I am.
All right.
Alrighty then.
Case in point. So anyway, as I'm putting away clothes this morning, I noticed we're missing a sock. We're filming.
That's right. There we go.
And I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm gonna have to look around for it later. I kind of look around a little bit. I don't see it, so I'm kind of clueless as to where the sock might be, but I figure it'll turn up somewhere. I just found the sock.
Where was the sock?
Guess where the sock is? On the toaster.
It is on the toaster?
How did a sock get on the toaster?
What is it? Sorry, Mom, I put it there.
You put the sock on the toaster?
Yeah, I was kind of like I pulled the sock off and then I just kicked my foot and it ended up going in the like slot in the toaster, so I just pulled it out. Mom.
Okay.
I've got
I swear, never a dull moment.
What were you doing right there?
Have our Whole Foods for the week. And guess what they had? They had bison steak. So thank you so much for watching this video on our tips for travel days. We would love to hear some of the ways you've made travel easier as you live the RV life down in the comments below. So make sure that you drop us a comment and let us know some of the ways that you've found to make those travel days a little bit easier. If you've not already hit the subscribe button, make sure that you do so that you are notified every single time that we release a new video, which is every single week. Thanks so much, and we'll see you out there.